Here are Ryan's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Number 1, Master Wada. No way, that can't be right. Damn! Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
Of FTR and Brian Cage. Now, I didn't have both. I couldn't fit all three of them because Brian Cage is so big, so I couldn't fit him on the graphic there. That's how big Brian Cage is.
He's a big boy.
Brian Cage was, I believe, a 5-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
FTR was 4-year deals.
I haven't heard of anybody doing 5 years in a while. Pretty much since AEW came out, I don't think I've heard of anybody doing a 5-year. Because everybody that signed at the
Moxley
start,
did it. Well, Moxley's second contract was a 5-year.
Yeah, that's true. But he's never going anywhere else. Brian Cage, still don't really know where he wants to be. Well, I guess you do now, but he always had the option of going back to WWE or trying WWE or whatever. And
yeah, they were interested.
Yeah, Moxley, I don't think he would have ever gone back no matter what the deal was. So, yeah, kind of cool. Kind of strange to announce your retirement at the same time as you announce your contract extension. They're going on the 4-year Muda tour.
They're trying to get all the gifts from everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about how Muda's retirement went, though, and you think, well, he announced he was retiring in the next year, and then he got to do everything he wanted to do in that 1 year. Maybe that's the plan too. It's like,
Muda's retirement reminded me of when Derek Jeter retired from baseball, and he announced it that it was going to be his last year. So, like, every last series against an opponent, they would bring him out this fucking insane gift for all the years. Like, his opponents that he beat the shit out of every year in baseball. Yeah. While you're on the Empire, the best team in baseball. Hey, the world championships that you fucking won from us wasn't enough when we spent all this money on our rosters. Nah, here's some parting gifts too. Thank God you're out of the fucking league. We don't have to deal with you anymore. So like, but they would be like gifts that were oriented with the city of the other team. So like in San Diego, or I believe he got like a big ass surfboard that was customized for Derek Jeter, stuff like that. So it was cool though. Like maybe that's what they were going for. Man, we must have gifts on the way out. Everybody needs to give us a lot of tequila on the way out. I believe that's what it is.
I mean, it makes sense if you listen to the stuff that Dax was saying, even in the months leading up to it. It was pretty clear he wasn't going to go back to WWE. He wasn't really a fan of the way that they were treated there. So, yeah.
I mean, you could literally say, and we talked about this. We talked about this last week, I believe, right? That a lot of this has to do with Vince being back in the fold as well.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of alluded to that too. He did say something specific about when
and not
he was
just
there,
not just FTR. We're talking Brian Cage. We're talking Jay White, possibly. We're talking about all these guys that were seemingly talking to both sides. And yes, you do that regardless, right? Because you're trying to get leverage on your deals. But do we not feel that they would be more inclined to take WWE a little bit more seriously if Vince hadn't come back?
Maybe. Especially FTR. Brian Cage, I don't know, man. He's a little bit, I don't want to say he's short, but like he's not a tall guy. He is huge, but he's not tall. And maybe he was worried that they wouldn't use him very well because of that. Because if you put him beside Lashley makes him look smaller. Because Brian Cage is very wide. He's been on, he's admitted PED use, obviously, and it's very fucking obvious, but he's been on that for a while, probably like over a decade at this point. But if you put him beside somebody that's tall, I mean, it takes away a lot of the visual impact of Brian Cage, and there's probably some concern about that, or maybe they wanted him to start over in NXT or some shit, who knows.
Or is there any concern about Brian Cage possible? Well, that too, because he doesn't have a lot of career left, right? So, like, the PED use, though, like, how long before his WWE career does he get tested and fucking fail it? You know what I'm saying?
So, do you think they still test? Because, look...
They tested Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle got wellness policy.
He didn't get popped for fucking PEDs.
Correct. But still. So they still do the test, is my point. They still do a wellness policy check.
Yeah, but if they were checking for fucking steroids, Bobby Lashley would have gotten popped, like, fucking... every day for the last 800 years, okay? So, like, that's not... They're 100% not testing for that. Yeah, they're either very selectively testing, which means they would overlook Cage's anyway, because they would be like, well, if you're 100% not going to fucking pass this test. But
well, I think because he's so open about it, I think that would have been a concern for Triple H and WWE as well.
when I say open about it, I don't mean he's like on Twitter saying, "Yeah, I fucking love steroids, bro." But what you will see a lot of times is that if somebody, especially on Instagram, he does this. If somebody makes a comment under one of his pictures or something like that, that sort of like makes a joking reference to it, he'll like it. Or if somebody says something like, "Oh, like I remember once he liked something that I commented as a reply to somebody on one of his things where they were saying something about like how using steroids is, you know, it was the typical like puritanical bullshit about them where people don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. And I replied to him basically just said like, it's not a real fucking competition. Who the fuck cares? Like, why do you care? Like, of course he's on there, but who the fuck cares? And then I remember him liking that comment. But so it's not like he, you know, shouts it from the rooftops or anything, but it's very fucking obvious, and he doesn't seem to really mind it. So, but yeah, could be that. I doubt it. It was probably just more like whatever plan they gave to him as far as how they were going to use him probably didn't seem super appealing. They probably would have wanted to start him off in NXT because, frankly, it's really his promo and character work that's his biggest dip, like his biggest lack of, you know, it.
Well, yeah, the only thing that they could really do with him to fix that is because Roman is about to be on the way out as far as Hollywood and stuff is concerned, is put him with Heyman, right? Because that's really your only manager in the entire fucking thing. Well, MVP, I guess, but I don't think they would do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Paul Heyman would be like the only logical solution to a Brian Cage type person, just because, you know, he had all the experience with the Brock Lesnar, who was pretty much in the same thing as far as like just massively fucking gifted compared to everybody else that they had at the time.
Or you just put him in a mask and don't let him talk.
Yeah, the executioner.
The Kane shit, yeah.
The old school executioner gimmick.
Put him in one of those BDSM leather harnesses like fucking, who had that? I don't remember.
Who, Demolition?
Warlord? Yeah, Demolition.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.